Hello, good evening, NMKLTrader Community. Nate here, and tonight I want to go over the NMKLTrader Renko Sniper V2 system. This is a very high-powered scalping system, okay? It is one of the best out there that I have possibly seen on the market. There's not too many Renko systems out there. This also requires traders here at NMKLTrader to have an intermediate or advanced understanding of trading before you jump in and start trading Rankos. Now, before we do get into Rankos, I do want to take a few minutes and talk about what they are. They're bricks, okay? And we are no longer going to be time based or time bound. So already having an understanding of Renko bars will put you miles ahead. If you don't, go out there, Google or YouTube, or not Google, but go on YouTube and search for a quick video on understanding Renkos. Very powerful. Okay. Now we use it here at NMKLTrader for scalping and trading futures and day trading. It is awesome. I want you to understand a couple of things, though. The markets that we trade, okay, we trade different markets. And by different markets, I'm talking about futures. I'm talking about stocks. I'm talking about cryptocurrencies. I'm talking about Forex. Every market, every instrument. Now, when I use the word instrument, now within futures, an instrument would be different instruments are like NQ, ES, GC for gold, SI for silver, all these different financial instruments within futures markets. It breaks down. Every one of them has a different Renko bar size when trading them. And you have to understand that. Now, for NQ, I have fine-tuned this indicator for the NASDAQ 100 E-mini futures. And I will tell you this, if you jump on the chart and try to make your indicator like mine tonight, and then tomorrow you try to trade the or the S&P 500 E-mini, it's going to look totally different. So this training video is for the NASDAQ 100 E-mini or the micro E-mini futures. Nothing else. Now, as I do more of these for different markets, you'll start to understand how I change my brick size. I'll even do a video on how to know what brick size to use. But for tonight's purposes, I'm teaching you how to set up and how to get started with the NMKLTrader Renko Sniper V2 system on the NQ or MNQ. Okay? I would be very careful, unless you know what you're doing, to trade it on other markets. Now, you can experiment, but don't use live money until you know what you're doing. All right, let's pull back. I'm going to go ahead and share with you how to get this rolling. Okay, so first of all, you need to do some chart setups. Okay, so first thing we want to do is, you see that we have the Heikinashi on here. Don't have any indicators loaded. So the first thing I want to do is I want to switch to Renko bars. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that first. Now the Renko bars, you have to have a certain package with TradingView to have access to Renko bars. So make sure you have that. If you don't have that, then upgrade. And if you can't upgrade, then you don't really have to trade this. Go back to the market trend system. You're going to make money all day long. But this does change. This gives you opportunities to scalp at night, all around the clock. Okay. And this is built around the market trend system. We do not deviate from the basic market trend system. All right. So here we go. I'm going to select the Renkos. You're going to see a quick change in bars. All right. Now you see a lot of, bricks here. All right. Let me go ahead and clean off the drawings from here, just so we have a clean chart to start with. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to determine brick size for the NQ. Now, I trade with either a brick size of 2, 4, 6, or 8 for the NASDAQ 100 E-mini futures. Tonight, I happen to be trading with 2. And let me explain why I use a smaller brick size at night here in the US is because the Asian market has less volatility, less movement, therefore I get smaller scalps, okay? I can't say that enough. Understand that's what the lower value brick sizes are for, okay? And then if I during the daytime it's usually a 4 or 6, or if I even want a smoother market, I trade a brick size of 8. But what you need to do is understand how the market is moving and then get in there and select a particular brick size because it'll make all the difference in the world how much money you're going to make, how much money you're going to risk, and things of that nature. And I recommend highly before you ever use any real money to practice, paper trading or in a demo account. Don't risk live money until you understand how this works. Okay. So now we got the Renko bar loaded. Let's go ahead now. You see this up here on your actual market up here. You see there's a brick size. Okay. This brick size right now that it's using is a brick size of 5 points. That's 5 points on this market. Brick sizes are usually measured in points, not ticks. Okay, so with this particular one, we're using an ATR 14 and it's measuring it and it's auto setting it for us. The system is, so it's giving you a brick size of 5. Well, I don't like for this to change my brick size. I don't like it to determine for me. I like to know what I want to set it to before I go even get into the market. All right, so because I know what time of day it is, I'm going to select 2. Okay, during the the morning session, 4, 6, or 8 will be better fit. 2 is real quick scalping in those markets, and it might confuse the heck out of you. Okay, so and it's totally up to you. If you like trading that quick, by all means, try it, but be careful. Make sure you always, always, always demo before you jump into live markets. And then once you have a good consistency, you feel confident, and you're winning more than 80% of your trades, or 75 to 80% of your trades, then go ahead and jump in and try, trading on live money. But let's go ahead right now. And what I want you to do is right click on your mouse, go down to settings. Now, you see here, I'm only going to go to the symbols tab. I don't need to go to any of this other stuff here. I'm simply going to go ahead and I'm going to take the opacity for all of my for my up bars and down bars, and I'm just going to take them to 0. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to basically make your bars disappear. Don't worry, no, it's no big deal. Okay, now I want to go ahead and set the opacity on this one to 0. And the reason I do this is so I don't have a bunch of clutter on my chart when I start adding the indicator. Okay, so there we go. Now we have a nice little clean chart. We have some wicks there. Hold on a second. Let's go back to settings. Okay, the other thing we want to do is let's just uncheck the wicks. I really don't need the wicks. If you want them, that's fine. That's up to you. Go ahead. All right, now, right here, because we're doing Renko bars, you won't find this available when you have Heikenhashi selected. But this has box size assignment method. All right, now there's really only 2 or 3 options here. I like to set traditional, and here's why. It allows me to do what I want. Okay. Now let's go ahead and uncheck wicks because I guess it resets automatically when you go between them. I want a box size of 2. Let's just go with 2. Okay. Now that's how you change your brick size that you're going to be seeing demonstrated on the chart. All right. Let me go ahead and hit OK here. And now we are going to load the different indicators that we want. Keep in mind, this is built around the market trend system. So that is really key that we don't get away from that. All right. I want to help you guys become successful. So we need a standard to trade by, and that is the market trend system. And the main component of the market trend system is the macro trend or the market trend histogram. So let's go ahead and load that as our first indicator. Okay. We're not going to change the settings in it. 305 are the two, that's what I want you to keep it at. All right. I'm also going to add the market trend Renko Sniper signals and alert. Okay. Oh, wow. Now we got some color here. We've got Renko bars again, and they're colored blue and red. Does that look familiar? Buy on blue, sell on red. I want to keep things simple, people, and I like to use acronyms or phrases that keep us focused on successful trading. Okay, so we loaded that one. Then now, don't worry about how it looks just yet. We're going to go in and make some settings here in a little bit. Now you want to load the NMKLTrader Renko Sniper V2 2.0. Okay, that's the next one to load. All right. Let me see. Is that all oh, you want to, okay. So the market trend trading session, we're going to go ahead and put on there as well because you want that turned on during the session hours. So you know what session is the most profitable when trading the futures markets. Okay. So let me go ahead and put that on there. All right. Now let's begin to build this out here. All right, first of all, you can see I got 2 market trend Renko signals and alerts. We don't need 2 of them. Let's just go ahead and delete one of them, okay? I have the histogram, and I have the NMKLTrader Renko Sniper V2. Now, what I'm going to do here is just go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and move the Renko Sniper on top of the histogram. And the way you can do that is go down here, be in the same window that the NMKLTrader Renko Sniper is in, and just click on it and move it above, okay, the histogram. That's all we need to do. The next thing I want you to do, so we really don't have to change any settings, just make sure that we're set to 300 and the change period is 5. All right. Don't need to change any colors on it. So let's go ahead and put that away or close it out, hit OK. And then for the market trend trading session, you always want to go in there and change that style to blue, bring up the opacity somewhat, so you can see the trend, or I'm sorry, the shaded background for the session. The inputs, you don't really have to do anything with them. Let's go ahead and click OK on that. All right, and let's go ahead and check out our market trend Renko Sniper signals and alert. Let's go ahead and look at the settings on this. We want to leave this EMA period 300, change period 5. We have some options here that you can set. Now, I like to move this to, sometimes I leave it at 40, sometimes I like to set it at 80. It just gives you a visual representation of what the possibilities of stops and losses in the value of ticks could be if you like to have a tool like that on your chart. If you do not like it, you can simply just click this, uncheck this here, and it'll go away. Well, when I say uncheck it, also you want to uncheck this show take profit and stop loss lines, okay? But this gives you a distance to kind of go by, all right? Then you want alerts on bar close only. So this is kind of how we want to set this up. And then for the style, let's just keep this simple. Bar color, yes, you want that checked buy on the first rising. What that simply means is anytime you get a blue rising bar, the first one, the first blue rising bar, it's going to give you a buy signal, okay? And then once you get the first falling blue, it's going to give you an exit. So if you're in a long trade here or a buy, what it's going to do is it's going to give you an exit on the first bar that goes in, and when it starts to lose momentum. Okay, the first
it's 20 hours
following, or the first falling blue bar, and vice versa with the sell, the exit long. When you get a sell, it's going to be the first falling red, and when you get a short, it's going to be when you exit the short, it's going to be the first rising red. What I like to do here is simply just kind of put an X. I want to change these boxes to X. You get to choose whatever, whatever instrument floats your boat. You can use an X, you can use a flag, you name it, okay? And I like to leave this pretty much set up just the way it is. All right, lines, you can check that, yada, yada, yada. So this stuff's pretty self-explanatory. So let's go ahead. That's how you set up the market trend Renko Sniper signals and alerts. Now, this last one here, I want you to pay real good attention to what I'm doing, because I get a lot of questions in the Discord, which is fine. I don't mind it. But to minimize, my answering basic questions to actually spending more time with good content with people, that's why I want you guys to pay attention in these videos. Okay, so here, let's get into this Renko Sniper. And first thing I want to do is go over the inputs. Now, this brick size preset, if you like super fast scalping, this is for you. You select the size you want. Okay, if you're on a 2-point, 4-point, 6-point, 8-point, you select it and you decide what you want to trade with. Now, here's the thing. I don't like the super speed. I do like trading 2 at night. I like trading 4, 6, or 8 during the day. Okay. Those are the sizes of the bricks that I like to trade. So what I do is this here, if you have this unchecked, it's going to go by what you select in this box here. Okay. But if you check it, custom overrides, tweak after preset. These down here are your custom overrides. Now I use what's here. You can simply go in and tweak these if you want to your liking, but I would start with this very setting right here and this checked. If you uncheck this, it's going to immediately default to this 2-point, or if you select a 4-point or a 5-point, okay, it's going to default to, or it's going to go straight to those. But if you check this, it's now going to go back to these settings here. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. You also want to check the show smooth RSI versus QQE crosses and show threshold channel exits. I really don't care when this thing crosses. You'll see it anyway. So this just adds more clutter onto the chart itself. But this is what I wanted you to understand here is that you're going to check this and you're going to trade with these numbers. Now, as you guys in the group become better at, you get better at trading Renkos and you want to tighten it up a little bit or trade a little bit faster, then you can possibly tweak these a little bit, okay, to your liking. And that's what we do as traders, okay? We find our place, and then once we become a natural, and sometimes we'll tweak this just a little bit, okay? But be careful. Always know that you can go back to defaults and hit reset down there, okay? Or you can reset the thing back to normal. Okay, I think I've spent a lot of time on this page. Let's go to style. This is where I want you to pay particular attention. Okay, go back and watch this video if you don't get this fully. All right, so we have the fast ATR RSI. I'm going to go ahead and change this to I like purple. You choose whatever you like, but just go with what I show you first, and then you can kind of play around as you get going. All right, so for this one, I like to change this to blue, and I like to change the opacity to about somewhere around 30. Okay, that's a pretty good number. All right, same with the red here. Bring it down to about 30-ish, 27, 28, 29, 30. Totally up to you. I mean, 27 or 30, it's how you perceive it on the chart. Okay, now I'm not done. Somehow that thing closed on me. All right, so those two. I leave this orange here because this orange is very important. This is going to let you know when you get into sideways markets. I've not seen anything where this has ever been employed, and it really has helped me to stay out of and win with Renkos, stay out of sideways markets and win with Renkos. The old Renko system that I bought, we used the Donchian channel and a couple other tools to try to stay out of the sideways markets, but that kind of, it worked for a few people, but some people struggled with it. Even myself, I was having difficulty with a couple of things in there. All right. So our channels here are upper and lower. We want to go ahead and I like to put dotted lines on there. Okay. So you can go ahead and just select dotted lines if you want, or you can leave them solid. Doesn't really matter. Okay. Everything up until this point is where we're at. Now, I want you to pay particular attention to what I do here because I'm going to do it really quick. If you don't get it, go back and watch this video. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and change this to a blue. Next one's is red. I'm not going to change it. This green here, I'm going to change to a blue color. And then I'm going to change this blue to a red. So that's my color scheme there, okay? Now, these two here, I'm not even going to mess with. And while I'm at it, I might as well just go ahead and just uncheck those two because that's that crossover I don't want to mess with. I don't care about it. I also want to go ahead while I'm down here and uncheck the pane labels. No, sorry, leave that back, leave that there. So I changed these colors right here on these four. Now I want to change these symbols. Okay, like right here. And you can select whatever you want, but for that I want to triangle up. For the red, I want a triangle down for a sell. Okay, and then for here, I like to select X because sometimes these represent get out points, okay, on the actual sniper itself. So that's where we're at with that. Now, the last thing, and the reason I told you to pay attention to this, is because what I'm going to do here is change where these things are at on the actual sniper. Okay, so that was top. This one's bottom. Now this one is going to be bottom, and this one's going to be top. Okay, that's why I didn't want to confuse you. I wanted you to see that. All right, and then let's go on down here just a little bit further. let's go ahead, and I want you to see this pane label. Go ahead and remove it. And that takes away that bar there that was kind of in the way there for a little bit. All right. So I'm looking at this. I think what I want to do is these two X's here. Let's go back and make those circles look like a dot on there instead. It really doesn't matter. Whatever you like. But just know that's going to be your exit point, most likely. Okay, let's go ahead and hit OK, because that's pretty much how you set this up. Now, what I want to do is show you how we trade this. We're actually in an area where we could have been in a trade. Okay. Now you can use this green and red line, and by all means try it out, figure out the ticks with it. What happens is it once you get a signal here, you're going to get a red line and a green line pop up, and one represents stop loss, the other represents take profit. It resets when there's a new signal. I simply do that so you guys can play around with it, and it allows you to set, if you like visual take profits and stop losses, totally up to you, but you got to go in and set the tick size, okay? Or yes, the tick size. I didn't create points here. Now, what I'm looking for when I'm ready to place a trade, you get this signal here, right? Let's just use this one for example. And what I'm looking for is I'm going to go ahead and put a line. Well, let's go ahead and change the color of that line to green, so I just like to represent with the positive colors. Now, what I'm looking at here, and let me make this a little bit bigger for you all, so we can see up closer how this really works. All right, I'm not going to place a trade as soon as I see this, but that's the first thing that has to happen. There are 3 events I'm looking for. This is number 1. Okay. The second event I'm looking for is not this blue here, but space. Space. Okay. Now, let me talk about space for a minute. I'm not looking for this arrow back here, which you could have got in on. I'm not looking at this arrow back here necessarily, because what happens is, let me just talk about this Renko Sniper for just a couple minutes. We'll come back to this in just a minute. But what happens is, as soon as the histogram in the Renko Sniper breaks out of the channel, you get an arrow up. And it has remained, the histogram has remained above the channel the entire time. That's why I don't have multiple arrows every time I get a buy signal up here, okay? But what we want to make sure of is a couple of things when we see this. We want to make sure that the orange is on top of the purple RSI. The orange for a buy must be on top of the purple RSI. So where does this actually take place? Well, it took place right here, but the next bar is right here. So what we're going to do is go ahead and move this bar on over here. And yeah, this circle could be represent that as well. Okay. And this is where, and you look down here, you've got, this is what I'm looking for. And I call this the big 3. Okay. You got to be trade the market trend system. It's a blue, so we're going to look for buy only. You're looking for separation right here. Okay. And then when you got separation between the purple and the orange, you're going to get in right here. Okay. You got to make sure this is blue too. And you have recently had one of these. Now, if this is a dark blue, that means it's descending. You don't want to mess with it. All right. So you need those three things to happen. Place a trade right here, get in and scalp up until you get the X. Then you exit. All right. Now, let me show you a couple of potential places on here that you could have traded today. And this is key. If I was not doing this video, I would have been in this trade and probably up about 200 bucks. Okay, so you can trade at night, you can trade during the day with this thing. You just have to be careful because these Renko bars are not based on any they're not time bound. Okay, that depends on the movement of the market. So at night, the reason I've got more Renko bars is because it's a 2, and it gives me a lot better visual to trade with. If this thing was set to 8, I'd only have 2 or 3 or 4 bars here, and it's really hard to trade that size of a Renko bar at night when you don't have a lot of volume. And sometimes you'll get maybe 10 bars painted all night long if there's just no movement. Okay, so that is why we vary the size of our bars. I hope that makes sense. So this is a particular place that you can trade. Now, another place you could have taken a trade. Oh, let me take that off of there. And I'm going to try not to take too long here because I'm going to wrap this up here in a few minutes. This is another potential place to trade here. Okay, so let's look at this. All right, so this is the first thing that you want to happen. The second thing you want to happen is you want clearance. Okay, that's where you get that. Now, you probably want to put a green line there, right through that, so you can see where to get in. Get in, and you also want to make sure that you're good down here. Those are the 3 events that need to happen before you get into a trade. And then you just simply get in here. All right, and you're going to ride this thing up. Let me grab this tool over here. Once you trade there, you're going to ride this from here up to the bottom of that exit right there. Now, this is a 12-point run. 12 points times $20 per point in the NQ E-mini is roughly about $240. Okay, now you minus the spread, you're down to about $220. Okay, but that's a short move. But if you're trading for $500 a day, that's almost half your target. You see how quickly this can add up. Let me show you some of the benefits of the system here. Okay, when you start getting these orange bars back and forth, this is a sideways market, and sometimes it will keep you out of some nasty stuff. And after you've been looking at this a little bit, you'll start to see that we don't trade unless we break out of this channel. Very important. So be careful when you start changing the size of that channel. Okay, trying to squeeze it. This is probably one of the most powerful things about this Renko Sniper. Look right here. You got these. You got this little bit of back and forth here. This can cause confusion and get you in a lot of trouble. That's why I'm saying trade the direction of the trend. All right, and watch out for these sideways markets. Now here you probably only would have picked up a couple of bricks. No big deal. Just take the smaller trades. Catch all the fish you want. Eventually, the big one's going to come. All right. So whether you're trading on a 2, a 4, or a 6 Renko brick, what I demonstrated here tonight is basically how to set this thing up, how to read this down here. Okay. I'm basically looking for clearance. Now, focused on a buy situation. Let me show you a sell situation here real quick. Let me find a good run to where there's a lot of clarity. Okay. All right, here's a good one. Here's a good sell right here. All right, first of all, you got to make sure that this down here, and don't worry, this up here does match the histogram because they're both set to 305. 300 EMA and 5 change direction. Okay. So right here we get the opportunity to go ahead and consider looking for a trade. Oh, okay. Right now the orange is underneath, but we are on the wrong side of the channel. Okay. You're above the green. That means buy. So we need to let this thing come down a little bit, and it does. All right, so you got step number one, condition number one met. All right, now let me go ahead and swap this out. Now let's move this on over to what's condition number two. All right, now we got the orange line below the purple line, which is the condition that we need for a sell. And it's breaking out of the channel here. At the close, you see that it's starting to break out. You also get this arrow. That's why a lot of times we can look at these arrows, because that shows the breakout area of the actual channel the first time it does. Okay. See, it does it over here again too, but let's focus on this. So here we have condition number two. Okay. And of course, condition number three, let me draw it here, has already been determined. So now we go ahead and place a sell here on this particular, at the close of this particular brick. And then if you write this down, it's about 56 points. Okay. I'm sorry, 56 ticks, 14 points times 20 is roughly about 240. Wait, 10 times. Yeah. 280 minus 280 minus about 20-30 bucks for the spread, and you're up about 250. You're halfway to your target. Okay, that's all you really need. Okay. And that's really kind of the key of this whole thing, is just really, we're still using the market trend system. We have this Renko Sniper that helps you stay out of sideways market. Sorry about that. You also want to be trading when you get the 3 steps met. Remember, you got to get this sell. You got to make sure that you get this, the orange on a sell needs to be below the purple, vice versa for a buy. And you need to make sure that the market trend histogram agrees. Okay. And again, this is just as simple once you understand the concept. Buy on blue, sell on red. So simple, so easy, so powerful once you understand it. Again, this is for advanced traders. This is not an intermediate to advanced traders. This is not, and Rankos are not for somebody who's just starting out trading. If you watch this video and you're intrigued, then become good with the market trend system, the basic, and then move over to this, or move towards this. This is really powerful. And Trend Dog, I'm sorry, I'm Trend Dog Nate in the Discord, but Renko Dog Dave will help you if you have questions. Okay, reach out to him. I'm in there a lot too. But I'm also building content. I'm doing training videos. I'm doing a lot of back end stuff for the NMKLTrader Community, so that you guys can have this brought to you. Okay, and I'm also trading my own I'm doing my own trading as well. So keep in mind, I'm very busy, but Renko Dog Dave will be more than happy to help you with this. This is his expertise. Actually, very successful with this. Okay. This is Nate. I hope this training video has been very, very important. I hope you get a lot out of it, and I'll see you in the trade room. Take care.